Nikon D780 review. The Nikon D780 is a 24-megapixel DSLR capable of shooting 12 frames per second in live view and in cropped 4K video at 30 fps. It brings many of the newest live view features from the mirrorless Nikon Z to a Nikon DSLR for the first time, including on-sensor phase detection pixels. Nikon both announced and began shipping the D780 DSLR in January of 2020. As the third in a series of very impressive Nikon DSLRs, specifically the D700 and D750. Nikon had big shoes to fill with the D780. Both of its predecessors were excellent cameras and still are great cameras today. In fact, after the D750 came out, NASM wrote an article calling it Nikon's best DSLR ever. Even today, it remains one of the best values for the money of any camera on the used market. But would you believe that the Nikon D750 is well over 5 years old? Nikon announced it in September of 2014, a lifetime ago for a tech product. That's a departure from Nikon's usual 2-3 year gap between mid to upper range DSLR releases. Yet, despite that gap, the brand new D780 is superficially similar to the D750 in quite a number of ways. While that's partly just a testament to the D750's quality, it is true that Nikon didn't change many of the headline specifications between the two cameras either. Both have 24-megapixel sensors, 51-point autofocus systems, and similar body design. The newer D780 even eliminates some useful features from the D750. Specifically, no built-in flash or vertical grip contacts, which has raised a bit of concern among Nikon shooters. What has Nikon been doing all this time? Cutting cost? Perhaps. But now that I've spent significant time testing this camera, my takeaway is that the D780 has many more improvements than the headline specifications suggest. The newer version isn't a complete overhaul, but it's certainly closer to the difference between the Nikon D800 and D810 instead of the D600 and D610. And again, the Nikon D750 has been one of our favorite DSLRs at Photography Life for years. Nikon had set itself a very high bar for the D780, yet still managed to make some serious improvements. I'll do a full comparison between the D780 and the previous D750 later in this review. But for now, I want to point out a few of the big changes. First, everything on the video side of things is completely new. The D780 shoots very high quality video, oversampled 4K with no crop, as well as 1080 video at 120 fps, not to mention 10-bit N-Log capabilities when shooting over HDMI. At the time of this article's publication, the D780 is Nikon's best DSLR for video. Only the Z and Z mirrorless cameras have slightly better video features overall, thanks to their in-body image stabilization and electronic viewfinder. Beyond the video side of things, you may notice a couple other intriguing specifications in the list above. One of the more notable ones is the shutter speed range, which maxes out at a whopping 900 seconds. Aside from specialized astrophotography DSLRs, it's simply unheard of to have such long pre-programmed manual shutter speeds. This is an exciting and useful addition on Nikon's part. You also might have seen that the 51-point autofocus system comes with the qualification of an improved algorithm. What does this mean? And how well does it actually work? Surprisingly well, but I'll get to that later.